lovely Sisterverse tribe and every Insta fam member. Hi Vivek, Vasanta, Preeta, Ai Sharma, Naveen, Sakshi, Minakshi, Angel Saina, Shraddha, Swati Pandey, woohoo, Pratikshit. Happy Krishna Jayanti, is it? Oh, happy Krishna Jayanti to you too. And thank you for all the Teachers' Day wishes. My God, my Insta and phone was flooded yesterday. It was so overwhelming to receive so much love. So very, very special thank you to every single one of you who made that effort to write out that very sweet, very kind, very lovely messages to me. It filled my heart up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please take my name, of course, Manjunath. Manja990, Neha. How is the idea of taking gratitude classes for kids? I don't know what age group you mean to ask me for, but I feel like all of this work, there's a certain age when it starts to become so much more profound. I believe that this work, when it enters your life somewhere in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, is better than for the younger kids. There's already so much in the younger kids that they live in joy. They naturally have a way of living in joy. They don't really need to do gratitude to align themselves to joy, right? Now, once in a while, it's okay to do gratitude with kids also, but I do feel like some things come with time. You know, God itself, for a lot of children, it can come earlier, but these are profound concepts and you have to hit a point in your life where you have to ask yourself profound questions. You have to ask yourself these questions like, why am I here? What am I meant to do? Why were we born? What is the point of humanity? When you start to ask those kind of questions, which can happen to you later in life, that's when really these topics become very attractive. So I feel like when you start them at very young in age and they don't have any idea why they have to do this one extra activity, I'm not sure if it will work for little children. Now, mid-range children and above, yes. But I do feel today my children do gratitude with a lot more understanding and knowingness than when I made them do it in 7th, 8th, 9th. So see, I feel like if you marry gratitude to many other things, explain the science, you know, and all of that, maybe for some children it may work well also. So I'm not sure. I'll tell you why I'm not saying 100% yes to this. I feel like when you introduce concepts when they don't need it, okay, it's like when you learn too much of chemistry or biology in school, you actually get off the topic. So topics, when they show up in your life according to your needs, become very real, become very connecting. And topics that we are overdoing, let's say, what are we going to do with that Battle of Panipat? What are we going to do with that calculus? What are we going to do with knowing, you know, all of the extra knowledge and information that currently is being overdosed onto children? I feel like that's where my fear lives, okay? So that's where I feel like already they're being over with so much knowledge. I would love for the seeker to be ready for these teachings to appear. Imagine if someone forced you to attend my Insta Live every week. It'll be a disaster. You know, you won't like anything. You won't like my face. You won't like how I speak. You won't like the dance. You won't like... And then if you come from your own heart, you know what happens? You like everything. You know, every week when I hear people say, oh, Puja, so pretty, so lovely. Wow, the background is so nice. Your outfit is so nice. Your earrings are so nice. It's not me. It is your eyes. You have developed the eyes to be able to see me. And that's the beauty of having faith in this work. You know, so... For everyone here, my suggestion, the best way to teach this topic to anyone is to become this topic. Okay, be that person who speaks in gratitude, lives in gratitude, if you want to further, you know, teach this in any way. So I hope you get the point of what I'm trying to protect you from here, or protect the children from here, okay? My 8-year-old does gratitude with me every day. It's beautiful. And my 13-year-old does not want to do it. Exactly my point. Yeah. So the child who wants to do it, encourage. Beautiful. That's lovely. And the child that doesn't want to do, don't force, is all I'm saying. Jasmine Nanavati, one of my closest relatives has a very bad nazar on me and my daughter since ages. No solutions you shared are working. Please help us create a story. So Jasmine, the fact that you have given someone this much power is where the problem lives, okay? So you are thinking that it is this person's nazar. What if I told you that life is about roller coaster ride, okay? It is supposed to go up and down. Now every time the dip happens, what are you doing? You're putting that dip and you're connecting it to the nazar of this relative. It's like saying that, you know what? This relative of yours, every time you step out, makes all the lights go red. Is that true? No, right? When you go on the road, the lights will be red at some point. It is not this relative who's doing it. Life keeps happening to you and you keep creating that connection. My suggestion, for 1 month, cut the cord of having any effect of this relative on your life. I want you to know that everything that goes wrong in your life this whole month is going to be exclusively done by God. Because God wants to build your character. God wants to build your personality. God wants to give you more. And how does God do all of that? By putting problems so that we raise to the occasion, we set our standards higher so that He can then give us more. Okay? It's all the connections we make. So I feel like a lot of times we have such a personal bias against some people that we give away all of our power to them. Okay, and once you start making connections, the brain is so good at doing that it almost feels impossible to break these connections. So I'm going to just suggest to you that this month, I want you to treat every event as not, firstly I want you to reduce the power you've given to this relative of yours. I want you to start to go, they are busy living their life. You think the only focus she or he has in his life is trying to put problems in your and your daughter's life. You're giving yourself too much importance. Okay, trust me, when you hit 40s, 50s and 60s, you realize that all the while you were thinking, what will other people think? They were not even thinking about you. Okay, so I need you to get out of this whole thought process or the pattern or the system that you have created for yourself, and I want you to start to exclusively look at every incident as an individual incident and see what could be the lesson God wants you to learn from this so that you can have a better life. So start to focus on the lessons of life, of what these challenges are bringing to you. When I fail in a masterclass or I fail somewhere, I like to ask myself, what can I fix? And in the process of fixing, my luck comes back, right? So life is a lot about fixing whatever goes wrong so that you can go to the next level, next level, next level. That's how we do it, right? You cross first grade, you go into second grade, you cross second grade, you go into third grade. So I'd love for you to start to create a new relationship with your challenges and problems and conflicts and obstacles and detours. And I want you to start to look at the good in them. And maybe someday you can actually go thank this closest relative, because this closest relative of yours has then turned into your trigger to get more deeply connected to self-reflection and God Himself, right? So someday, for all you know, this person may be the disguised angel on earth for you. Now, for now, this may not seem like the best answer to you, but I would love for you to start to open yourself up to exploring all of this, yeah? Shraddha, how to overcome overthinking? Shraddha, for me, it's one line answer, which is stop. Now, what do I mean by stop? You need to get up and put a new thought inside, or you need to get yourself busy or distracted with something else. Overthinking only happens when our body goes into a slump, which means we need to sit down and go into what we call the downward spiral. But if you can catch the downward spiral in advance, in the minute it starts, you should know what are those entry gates that take you towards overthinking, and then move your body. You know, I have an enlightenment program where every week I make women just move their body for 30 minutes. and they're thinking, oh, they're coming for a dance session. The real truth is all of your overthinking is sitting in your aura. And you know what? It's because our neural pathways are connected with what gets fired, gets wired. What's happened is now you have a whole tube in your mind where literally if you're, let's say, in 2006, your husband didn't give you flowers for your birthday. And in 2007, he forgot to wish you. And in 2008, he went off on a boys' trip. Now, what's happened? A pattern has gotten set that he doesn't care for my birthday. Now, every birthday, your mind is looking for evidence. Okay, so it is all connected, and what happens could be just that, let's say your husband did give you a card and flowers on your birthday, but he didn't take you out for dinner. Your mind will connect all of the birthdays and go, in 2006 also you did this, in 2007 you did that, in 2008 you did that, you never care, you never this thing, you always, never and always. These are very important words. You will notice that when you're overthinking, you will land up using. Okay, so you want to break this chain, this blood flow of negative pipe that has got created in your mind. Now, how do you do that? You start to replace it with the opposite. What if I started to write, okay, my dear darling husband did do this and this and this and this, and you start to notice that he's actually a good guy, that he actually does. Maybe on my birthdays he doesn't remember, but otherwise, you know what, he pulled the chair, he remembered to wish my mother, he did that, he did something good, though everybody does, right? So like that, what you start to do is you start to create a new blood flow which has positivity in it. And when you do gratitude or acknowledgements every day, a time comes where the blood flow in that negative pipe just doesn't flow. That pipe starts to shrink and this new positive pipe starts to expand. And suddenly the same life that used to seem like the half glass empty becomes half glass full. And you start to go, actually everything is pretty perfect in my life. Most of the time people, when they come to me, I can't change their surroundings, I can't change their environment, I can't change the people that they are around. What do I land up changing? The perspective. You change your perspective, your overthinking will stop. So today onwards, catch yourself. Let's say I'm an overthinker about, let's say I have a fear for a relative. She's sick and I'm scared that something will happen to her. Now I know what my downward spiral does to me. What if this happens, then what if this happens, and what if this happens? I need to catch that fear at that point when it starts. And then I need to replace it with a better thought. So I can tell myself, you know what? God is there. He's watching. He knows best for us. He will protect her. And I send her blessings. And there, I've cut the overthinking at the beginning point. Overthinking is a luxury that we will have because we have time on our hands. The busier a person, the lesser the time to think. So start looking at how can you make your life productively busy in a good manner that will stop this whole sitting and spending time in negative thoughts. This is such a problematic thing. I would love for you to replace it with positive future visualizations. The overthinking is you looking at your future negatively. Visualization is you looking at that same future positively. Okay? Now, who makes that choice? You. Your thinking, your mind is separate from you. It is in some forms, but you know what? The beauty is you have control over that separate mind. So you can tell your mind, I'm not going down that road. I know what you do with me, you monkey mind. So when you start to capture it and channel it, and then you bring it back and then say, I'm going to only think positively. Everything's going to work out for me. Effortlessly and easily, I'm going to attract money. Nothing is going to go wrong in my life. My children are going to be divinely protected. I am going to be living in a most abundant lifestyle. And you start to say things like this to yourself every day. In the beginning, none of it you will believe. Please don't even bother or trying believing. Just keep saying them long enough that it becomes your truth. And there's a gap in between where it goes from non-believing to believer. And that gap, you just have to pretend. You just have to act it out. You just have to fake it till you make it, or whatever such sentences that have gotten created. Okay? So all the very best. Overthinking is very much in your control. Try any of these and see which one works best for you. Okay, darling? Priyadarshini, what to do when husband is allowing small children like 5-year-old to sleep with us and wants to sleep with grandma, which I'm not okay. Creating fear in children to go and sleep with her takes a toll on the... So Priyadarshini, I'm sorry I couldn't read your entire question as it didn't fit. But what to do when husband is allowing small children like 5-year-old to sleep with us and wants to sleep with grandma, which I'm not okay with. So I'm guessing you want to make your children independent to want to sleep in their own room, while the 5-year-old finds more comfort in sleeping with you or the grandma, and you are not okay with it. You know what? This is a personal question. So there's nothing wrong. Firstly, I want you to understand there's nothing wrong in your child sleeping with the grandma, sleeping with you once in a while. That is wonderful. If you're feeling like, no, I want to teach them to be independent, that's a discussion you need to have with your child. What I'm feeling in your question is it's feeling like, you know what, it's to sleep with her takes a toll on the, I'm not sure what it's taking a toll on, but you need to check that. Maybe it's not the sleeping which is the problem, but there is something else that is happening that may be an issue. Maybe the grandma wakes up too early and so the child wakes up too early. Maybe the grandma is not sleeping on time, so therefore you don't want her to sleep with the grandma. Maybe when they're sleeping with you, they're getting... So I feel like in parenting, the one thing I've learned is there's no right answers. It is what you are willing to do to give to the child. Some of us want to give the child the independence and the ability to be able to sleep on their own. That's a beautiful thing. Okay? Some of us want to give them that comfort and joy and family time by putting them in our room. That's a beautiful thing. So I feel like, I know people who say, oh, you should never keep your children in your room. I feel it's a very Western culture, okay, which we have brought into India. In India, we used to live in joint families and cousins used to sleep together, and this thing used to, it used to be a very friendly environment, right? And that also works. And independence also works. So I feel like instead of judging it, you see what you want to do best and then sit down and have that conversation. You know, what I've seen is that when we project to our children that your dad and mom are not on the same page, even a 5-year-old starts to take advantage of it. At exactly 8 o'clock, he will come to the room and say, Papa, please, can I sleep with you? And Papa can't say no. Right? So the thing is, the more united you are as a couple, the better the upbringing of the child. So see if you can at least get into some sort of a negotiation where you go, okay, 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday because it's weekend, or Friday and Saturday because there's no school next day, they can sleep with us. But Monday to Friday, they must sleep in their own room. So some sort of negotiation, some sort of conversation. If what can tend to happen a lot of times in parenting is it becomes you versus me. Okay, the you versus me is eventually not so great for the child. It has to be us versus our whatever it is that we want to do with the child, right? So it can't be you versus me. It's us versus the planning that we have. So whatever plans to be created have to be created with both together. There are times when Puneet and I don't agree with how we want to raise our children, and so there are departments that we've divided, that in this it will be your department. Let's say it's food. So he'll say, Puja, in food department, it's your department. Whatever it is, you decide eventually. Let's say it's their career. I say, Puneet, in career, it is your department. You want him to do internship 5 days a week, 6 days a week. How you want it to do it, let it happen according to you. So what we do is, even though I may have another idea, I will respect his idea because that department belongs to him. So see if you can start to divide your roles into departments within the child's upbringing. Okay, I hope that was clear. I'm not taking the half questions because when I see a half question, then I don't know the whole story. So if you've written and you have more to write, please know that there are restrictions to that. Okay. Shreya, hi ma'am, can affirmations rewire our subconscious mind from roots? I do believe so, Shreya, that affirmations are one of the strongest and smartest ways to rewire the subconscious mind. You know, when we say it long enough, it changes. Now, it needs a few things. The first thing to understand in affirmations is it needs to be in the present tense. So you're not speaking in affirmations in the future, you speak about it in the present tense. Try to keep it short, try to keep it accurate to whatever it is that you're trying to tell yourself. Okay, so if I'm let's say I often criticize something about myself, I'm so lazy. Now I can create an affirmation to counter attack this I'm so lazy. So I can say instead, you know what? I actively use my time in productive manner. And I know when to rest, I know when to work. Let's say I say this to myself instead of saying I'm lazy. I actively use my time in a productive manner. I know when to rest and I know when to work. Every day I say this to myself. Can you see how the reconditioning will start to happen? Now in the beginning when I say all of this, will I believe it? No. And that's, I feel, where people drop out of the whole thing. In the beginning, they want to have it. Yesterday, I was having this conversation with my older son where he said, Mom, if I can't do it well, I don't do it at all. To which I was giving a replacement quotation to him where I said, you know, sweetheart, anything worth doing is worth doing badly in the beginning. So I'm a big believer that if it's worth doing, do it badly in the beginning. No worries at all. So even in affirmations, I'm going to say the same thing. If you don't know how to do it and in the beginning you don't have that belief in affirmations, just keep saying it long enough. You will be surprised how beautifully we can recondition our mind to really start to reach a place where that will become your bigger truth. A day will come where today when I tell people, you know, I'm so lazy, because that's pretty much how I've lived my whole life. I've always called myself lazy. People around me will say, Puja, the one thing you're not is lazy. Now I know at a core level I am, but because of the affirmations that I have said to myself for so many years, I changed in the process. And today, lazy is not my reality. It may have been my reality, but it no longer is. Why? Because everything has gotten rewired, like how you put it. Yeah. So I'm highly going to recommend to everyone who's here to start to use the power of affirmations in your life. I get amazed at how powerful we are as human beings and how we can use all of these tools and techniques to rewire, and yet so many of us are not even aware that there is so much of easy rewiring that can happen. So I'm so glad you asked this question. What a smart question. Renu Jacob, Puja, post-COVID has created such an anxiety that I do not get positive thoughts anymore. How much ever I try to say mantras, some thoughts come in as if I will not have good health. How to overcome it? Renu, this is not just your problem, but COVID did create anxiety in health for majority of the world. The energy fell, the vibrations of the whole world fell. You know, when you are put in isolation, that's one of the things that happens. We go into negativity. Negativity is a part of isolation when not done the right way. It's a different thing to sit in self-reflection. I'm not talking about that isolation where you are going on a journey of growth, but where you're forced into isolation, like jails. What do? They're forcing into isolation. That's when your energy falls. That's why it's called a punishment, right? And so if you are someone who's been having this kind of thing, you just have to break the pattern. That's all you have to do. How will you overcome it? I would love for you to on an every single day journal out, okay, that you know what, I am loving this new journey of knowing that my health is on track, that nothing will go wrong with me. I am divinely protected. I do believe that things that we don't have control over, we should have more faith in God on those things. Okay, so there are things you can control. For example, your daily exercise, what you put in your mouth, how you look after your self. All of that is in your control. Do more that is in your control so that you feel more powerful. And then there are some things I want you to outsource to God. Okay, which is just start to truly build faith in your personality that you are divinely protected, that Godji has a special plan for you, that the universe has your back, that the Supreme is looking after you, and start to look for evidence in this world where this becomes your truth. Remember, whatever we think, we find evidence in the world. That's the whole point of our mind. You think that it's going to rain, you'll start to find those clouds. You think it's not going to rain, you'll say, no, these are not the rain clouds. So what I have seen in my life is we find evidence for whatever, and then you know what happens? When it happens, we start to make connections. If it doesn't happen, we forget it. But when it does happen, what do? We start making these connections that are, see, I knew it was going to rain. Godji had told me. And so when you have a positive relationship with your faith, positive things start to happen. When you have a negative relationship with the system, with your anxiety, with your depression, negative starts to grow in your life. Whatever you focus on will grow. So you need to start to just focus a lot more on engineering your entire journey to have to say that, you know what, even if bad health comes, it is only going to come as a warning to put me back on track of good health. So there are two kinds of bad health. One is the bad health where you feel like something fatal will happen. One is the bad health which is just like a reminder to stay on track. You know, sometimes when people just see high cholesterol in their blood report, they go, okay, I must reduce my smoking, or I must quit smoking. And they quit smoking because of high cholesterol. Wow. Now, was that a bad thing or was that a good thing? That they saw high cholesterol in their blood report. For them, they turned it into a good thing, right? I want you to start to convert every time. Otherwise, what's going to happen is every time your health will go down, you will connect it to, see, I knew that I'm going to have bad health. I want you to connect it to, oh, this is God's warning to put me back on track. What have I not been doing lately? I've not been doing my walking. I'm going to start my walking from today itself and for the whole month. For me, I treat all health issues as God realigning us to put us back on track of good health. That's all bad health is. Okay? When you start to look at bad health in that manner, you will find it so empowering. For me, anytime, let's say I'm having a headache, or I love to ask myself, what could have caused this headache? And then if I can find the source, then I try to do things differently. Oh, maybe lately I've been waking up too early. Maybe I need to start to sleep till a little later. Maybe at night I'm not getting full deep sleep. From tomorrow onwards, I'm going to put away my phone for an hour in advance so that I get deeper sleep, so that I'm not on any sort of a blue light at night. So can you see how you can keep on improving and fixing your life just because of something not going right? Yeah, so see if you can come up with a new plan around your health. And I want you to start to say, maybe God put COVID on earth because too many people were suffering in health and nobody was doing anything about it. He needed to bring health back in a big way without making it fatal. Straight when you have cancer, that is scary, right? But if you had COVID, or if somebody had COVID around you and recovered, now that is, recovery has happened. So now you can start to look at it in a better manner. So God literally brought COVID and took away COVID by making the whole world a little more aware around, let's all focus on becoming healthier as people. And a lot of other things, you know, to every bad, there's always, to every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. And when we start to look at the silver lining, we realize exactly why that thing happened in the first place. True? Elevate life with Shalini. When you make a plan and are very excited about it, but it doesn't work out, how do you deal with it? Knowing very well that whatever happens is for the greater good, but it's so difficult to train the mind. So Shalini, there is belief and then there is faith. Okay? You have started to kind of believe that there is a greater good, but you don't really believe it. The day you really believe it, that day onwards, you won't even ask me this question. So let's say I'm very excited about a lovely plan. Now, if I truly believe that there is my plan and then there is God's plan, and God's plan is actually better than mine, then this won't upset me. Okay? One of the things that I have understood in my life is that what happens in life is, let's say we are going like this and there's a dip, and then there's a dip again, and then there's a dip again. Now, every time this dip comes in our life, and we don't dip with the dip, which means that now I still remain excited कि तो क्या हो गया, ये नहीं होगा तो कुछ और हो जाएगा, and I don't dip where normal people will dip. Okay, so let's call the world ordinary world and extraordinary world. So ordinary people, when things go wrong, they go sad. When things go happy, they go happy. We respond according to how the world is responding to us. So their outer world is creating their inner world. Now there is a 10% category of the world, maybe lesser, but I'm going to give the benefit, that actually goes from inner to outer. Where they go, when the dip comes, they go, you know what, maybe God was protecting me from something. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go on this trip. Maybe I'm supposed to be getting a better trip. Maybe there will be a better time for this. And I don't dip when everyone's dipped or the whole event has dipped. And I keep my energy. Can I tell you, in less than 24 hours to 48 hours, I'll get some news where it'll be a better plan than whatever my plan was. Because I didn't dip. Okay, so I am going to ask everyone who's listening to me today, stop dipping with the dips. Stop dipping with the dips. Have more faith. You know, every single time someone calls me in a problematic situation, I just tell them, can you keep your vibration high, even though right now everything in your life is telling you you must fall. You must fall, become sad, become depressed, become upset. Can you hold on to any tinka and say, you know what? If this is the challenge, I will face it boldly. Can you just do that? And then you know what happens? Within 2-3 hours, I'll get a call from the client saying, Puja, miracle. The boss agreed. This thing happened. The promotion came. The trip got refinalized. It's just a detour. We are going 2 days later. That's all. All you need to do is stay in that energy of that if I don't dip, some miracle will show up within 24 hours. Just start to give yourself this story. Remember, our intentions build our life. For me, anytime when things go wrong, I just say, you know what? Stay in the energy, Puja. Remain positive. 24 hours, you will get a sign from God that something great is going to happen. Sometimes it's not 24 hours. Sometimes maybe the thing is such where it takes a week or two. But can I tell you, you don't fall with the dip. God will not let you fall. He will raise the whole environment situation to match your vibrations. You start to believe that, you start to operate from that energy, you'll see a completely new shift in your journey of life. Yeah? All the very best, sweetheart. Truly start to have this faith that really what is happening is for the good. When you deeply and really believe it, then you won't feel it difficult. Yeah. For 5-6 hours, if you remain in the disappointment of something that you were excited about, that's okay. But remain in the disappointment. Don't go depression level. Okay. So disappointment is, oh, I wish it had happened, but I guess God has a better plan. So you're not dishonoring how you're feeling. You're not saying, oh, I'm so excited, my plan got cancelled. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just don't go falling to the level that you're feeling. Okay. Don't fall to the level that you're feeling. Hold your feelings long enough that it changes. Okay, let's go right to the bottom and see what's happening there. Super, so many of you giving your own perspectives now on that. Hi Puja, I always feel like I want to ask you something, but whenever I listen to other people's problems, I feel my life is much better in that right way. Is that the right way to think, or am I too much in my comfort zone? Jyoti, it is beautiful to think that your life is much better. My suggestion to every single person on this Insta Live today, start to compare yourself into believing your life is much better. Our minds love comparing us to better and keep feeling bad about our life. When you start to do the reverse, your life actually starts to get better. So Jyoti, no, this is not a comfort zone thing. This is the perfect way to look at life. A lot of times I want people to interact with one another to realize, you know what, my problem is easier than hers. My problem is better than hers. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so don't feel bad about it. I truly believe that all of us, if you are watching my Insta Live, you are already in the top 5% of the world. Do you know that? People don't have the luxury on a Wednesday morning to be sitting and listening to all of this. True or not? Most of us will have things to do. If you have the luxury to be able to take out time for your self-growth, you are in the 5% already. It's like God created a Ferrari, and now if the Ferrari keeps complaining, why am I a Ferrari, but why am I red? I want it to be yellow. Then God feels like, oh, so ungrateful, isko to kuch dene ka fayda nahi hai. But if the Ferrari keeps itself nice and shining and polished and keeps thanking God for, oh my God, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky here. I'm so lucky there. My life at least doesn't have this problem, or at least doesn't have that problem. You know, anytime somebody gets very, very ungrateful over a sister-in-law, over a relationship, over someone, I tell them just go and spend one day in the hospital, 1 hour. Just walk around and just see the pain level of people. That's when we will realize how much better our life is. And you know what? I think it's important sometimes to put our life in perspective of how much the world is suffering and how freaking lucky we are. And the day you start to really believe that you are freaking lucky, your luck starts to grow. You believe you're jinxed, your jinx starts to grow. Because eventually your mind has to prove you right. Whatever you say will become your truth. If you think you can or if you think you cannot, you are right. So from today onwards, Jyoti, you and everyone else in this room, I would love for you to just start to say to yourself, you know what? I am freaking lucky. Anything I touch turns into gold. It all works out for me. God tests me, but then He gives it to me. God tests me, but then He gives it to me. You start to develop a mindset of positivity. How do you become positive? How do you become optimistic? The greater your faith that the universe has your back, that there is an energy beyond you that's creating your destiny and your life along with you. You're co-authoring. The more you can have that belief, the easier it becomes to operate in life. Aarti Chawla, hi. How to remember what we read in a book and make notes? What do you suggest? So Aarti, I'm a big believer that in every book there may be 100 points that you would like to remember, but there are only 3 or 4 that will hit you at that time. And the ones that hit you stay with you. So from every book, instead of trying to learn 100 things, see if you want to just learn those 2, 3, 4 that naturally go and sit inside of you. And then you take the next book to get the next level of knowledge, okay? When people say, Puja, 24 courses you needed to go for. I remember at one point my husband making fun of me and saying, you need 24. मेरे को एक में ही समझ आ गई थी. So, why 24? Because in every course I went to the next level. So from a 2 I went to a 3, from a 3 I went to a 4, from a 4 I went to a 5. I know some people who want to go from a 2 to a 10 from one course. नहीं होता. It is a gradual process because there is time involved in growth. So there is you. There is the knowledge that transforms, and then there is time that when you use that knowledge, you convert it into wisdom. And I feel like not enough of us give enough value to the time gap that is there between receiving the knowledge and turning it into wisdom. So from now onwards, my suggestion to you, Aarti, will be from every book, ask yourself, what are the 1, 2, maximum 3 things that I want to take away? Okay? And then those 3 things, how am I going to implement them in my life so that they become mine? And that's how I would love for you to grow your life rather than trying to take on all of the knowledge of that entire book. Got it? Kavya Dhani, ma'am, how to control anger and ignore things? So Kavya, I run a 1-month program called Awakening Your Goddess. It's a beautiful program to become emotionally more stable and mature. I have a 3-hour answer to this question that you've asked me, so I don't want to do injustice by answering it in a line. My suggestion to you is get in touch with Gunjan. Okay, we will be sharing her number below. It's 7823988142, and see if you can land up joining my October batch. Every Thursday for 3 hours I will show up, and 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. I'm requesting you for 12 hours of your time, and then allow me to show you the kind of self-control and amazingness that will come into a relationship that you will build with yourself. And the more beautiful your relationship with yourself, you're going to start to see that fragrance translate into every relationship of yours. So instead of me giving you how to handle the symptom of a headache, I want to cure the tumor itself. So the symptoms of how to control anger, why are you even getting angry? Let me show you why you get angry, what you can do, what are your patterns, and how can we break them once and for all so that you don't remain a puppet in the hands of people who can make you angry. I want you to be so goddess-like that your inner world creates your outer and not your outer deciding your inner. Okay? So Kavya, and to everyone here who really wants to get into a better relationship with themselves, because you understand that you change your relationship with your inner core soul, automatically or every relationship will get impacted. And the more beautiful your relationship with yourself, the more complete you feel, the more you get rid of that emptiness and that deservability, less deservability feeling, or low self-worth, or any of the rejections that you've had in your own life that you have not fully processed and dealt with, but it's there sitting somewhere like arrows, things that people have said to you. Maybe they are misunderstandings, maybe they are hurts. All of this, all you need to go is on a 1-month journey with me. So I'm inviting all of you. This is not a sales pitch, as much as it may feel like. I swear, I truly believe that every woman needs to go through the awakening program at least once in her life to just get her basics right. And once you get your basics right, you'll be able to build on that so wonderfully that what you may do in October of 2023 may show up in 2027 as you becoming the most successful person in your industry, and you'll never know that the seed got seeded because you started to change that relationship with yourself. Okay, Meri Jaan? Let's go right to the bottom. Oh, so sweet. Thank you, Sangeeta. Richa Bhagat, ma'am, you said that Sisterverse will be a beautiful journey and we will be doing some very different, very special things, and you'll be connected with us throughout the journey at least once a month. Absolutely, Richa Bhagat, and please wait for next year for Sisterverse to start. I haven't yet started Sisterverse apart from the Money Manifestation Challenge. So if you haven't yet attended the Money Manifestation Challenge, please be in touch with us so that we can take you through the beautiful Money Manifestation Challenge. That's the only thing in Sisterverse that I have done up until now. So get ready. We have a lot of plans to be in touch with you every month from January. Okay, so from January you're going to see me every month. In the meantime, keep coming for the Insta lives. Reena, I'm suffering from postpartum depression. My husband is not even supporting me and my mother-in-law is making trouble between us. Reena, that's not a great place to be with. So I would love for you to surround yourself with better people. Look for friends who can support you. Look for your own parents who can support you. Look for your own siblings. Look for people around who are in a similar situation as you, which means having little babies. All of that helps. You know, unfortunately, there isn't enough information in this world around this particular depression. I feel like I didn't even know about it. After I had my child only, I even heard this term. I was like, you know what? Every pregnant woman should be in complete knowledge of this information, because it can be so overwhelming to go through so much of emotional turmoil, not knowing what is happening to you. So if you're not getting that support from your husband or mother-in-law, maybe in your next visit to your gynecologist, you can take them along so that you can actually explain to them what you are going through. I feel like a lot of these mental health issues are becoming more and more because people around us have no idea about what we are talking. It feels made up, it feels attention seeking, it can feel all of those kind of things, you know. I hear people say, oh, you should do more gratitude. That's not how you beat mental health. I mean, gratitude is a great tool to fix yourself temporarily, but if you have a real depression, or if you have a clinical or a chemical depression, it cannot be fixed with tools and techniques. It may need more than that. So Reena, I'd love for you to start to go on a journey to try to educate your husband and mother-in-law first, for them to even understand what it is that you're trying to say, before you can even start to get them to come on board with you. Okay, darling? See if you can manage something. Puja, how do you manage your time with close family and friends who want your time but don't want to work on themselves? So I think, Abida, one of the rules I have is, firstly, I don't like to coach family and friends. Okay, I have a rule that you either be my family and friend or you be my client. Don't try to be both. Now, if I see someone is very keen to be both, then pay. That's one of the ways I know you are actually serious and you're not just taking my knowledge for granted. I don't like anyone treating me lightly. If I'm going to be giving you information or knowledge that you can make your life better with, then you better be serious. Otherwise, I'm okay being your friend. I don't need to give you that information or that knowledge. Let's just talk on a one-to-one level, right? So Abida, the test is basically their reaction to the first session. So let's say the first session is free. The first session is just you just contributed to someone, but within the first session you realize that they are not going to be doing anything. They have no interest in working on themselves. They are only interested in this conversation where they get to vent against whoever they have a problem with. I remember having a client whose family friend client whose only job was to ask this question that, my husband doesn't support me or whatever, something in regard to the husband, or doesn't love me or doesn't this thing, how do I handle it? And I saw her asking me, asking my cousins, asking my friends, asking her friends, asking her mother-in-law, asking. The whole reason for her asking this question was never to hear the answer. It was always to be able to tell the world how wrong the man is. So once you understand that some people in their victim mentality want to stay victim, they don't want to change. They are not looking for solution. They are not looking for answers. They are looking for who next can I get sympathy from, because sympathy is oxygen for the victim. When someone says, oh my God, I feel so bad for you. Oh, how badly you're stuck. Oh, how wrong of them to do that to you. Oh, this is such a sad situation. Oh, so they thrive on these sentences. If this is what you're looking for, please move on and find someone. I call it kitty party, pity party. So you can create your own pity party where you collect people of your kind and then each one gives the other, हाँ तेरे साथ भी ये हुआ, मेरे साथ भी ये हुआ. And then you can build it to as whatever level you want to. I am not willing to participate in your pity party. So I'm so sorry. If once, maybe twice, maximum thrice you want to vent, I may allow. After which, if you're not doing anything about it, I know that you're not here for any solution. You're only here for, then I need to retreat. I can't let my energy fall in the process of trying to be a support to you. So look at how you can use this, Abida. I am doing money manifestation. Today is my second day. For all of you who are on the beautiful, energetic journey of money manifestation, massive congratulations. I am so happy and so excited. Please take this very seriously. Don't miss a single day. It is going to change your entire relationship with money forever. And not to worry, for all of you who are waiting for Sisterverse to launch in January, please remain full enthusiastic and fully excited about it, because trust me when I say this, I have a whole plan. I have a whole plan of how I want to take people forward in 2024. It's not going to start in 2023. Maybe in December I'll do one more session just to get you on board for January. But everything is going to start only post 7th January. So just make a note of that, okay? Are you single? No, I am married. What is the money manifestation challenge? Will it be in the part of the October program? Yes, very much. So whenever you do awakening with me, you will land up doing the one more extra month of money manifestation. Anybody interested in the money manifestation program, come for awakening. It will automatically lead to money manifestation. Okay? Myself consulted a psychologist and she talked to my husband, but he's still not changing. You know what? When you try to get help and the other person still chooses not to change, then you should know it's about time you changed your expectations. So I feel like a lot of what got created in my life is because of the disappointments that I faced by accepting that some people around me will not be able to meet my expectations. So Puja, better you look after yourself in this topic. So I'm going to ask all of you here, try your level best to influence the people around you, but at some point you will hit rock bottom, which will be, you know what, nobody is here to support me, love me, care for me. Everyone's on their own agenda. If it suits their agenda, I'm a part of their life. If it doesn't suit, I get dropped. So who has to look after me? me. You know how they tell you to put that oxygen mask first on the airline for yourself, then for anybody else around you? Same thing. I think we all, especially as women, hit a point in our life where we go, you know what? I feel like I need to grow up to look after myself. And that's the time when you start to take responsibility. You start to move out of that victim mode. Victim mode is when they will change, my life will be better. Responsibility mode is no one is changing, I better change to make my life better. And the day you get into that energy, there's a different kind of power and courage that you will start to see within yourself. Things that you've not been able to do for 10 years, maybe you were not able to stand up for yourself. 12 years, maybe you were never able to ask for the things you desired or wanted properly. Now you will see yourself really rising to the occasion. And then when you start to build your life, it becomes so wonderful, so beautiful. I mean, I always say courage to be able to walk the path, clarity on where I want to go, and daily consistency. That means building my commitment muscle. These are the 3 pillars that I have built my entire life on. Courage, clarity, consistency. Every morning I ask myself, who and what do I need to do today that's currently building fear in me? What is it I need to attack in my life? What is it that I'm scared of but I'm very excited about also? That's a lovely sheet to create. Then I love to ask myself, where in my life do I not have clarity? Which means, where am I in exploring? Exploring is when you give yourself permission to fail without feeling bad. So I shift all of my clarity to exploring. Okay, I need to explore this. I need to explore this. I need to explore that. That means I'm going to try this out. I'm going to try dance classes for a month and see whether I like it. Then I will decide whether I want to join them or not. Right? So then I don't give myself to say, oh, I joined but I left. So many of us keep hammering ourselves on things that we want to do but we don't land up doing because we keep thinking, oh, but I failed. The last time I tried, I failed. The last time I tried, I failed. You didn't fail. You were exploring. In exploration, there's no failure. In exploration, it is only, you continue to explore to find the right point. You just didn't reach the right point. Midway through, you called it a failure, right? So, I think Edison said this, that it takes 1,000 steps to build a light bulb. Instead of saying that I did 1,000 experiments and failed, he says it took 1,000 steps to build the light bulb. I think the same way our life, we have to start to go, okay, I'm exploring. And then consistency muscle I build by creating a habit tracker. These are the 5 things I need to do every single day this month. I want to wake up at this time. I want to have my badam and my, let's say, amla juice. I want to every day attend to this one important thing that I'm doing. Let's say I'm building a website. So this whole month I would like to work on my website every single day. And then I'd like to spend 15 minutes with my spouse every evening doing gratitude. And then I'd like to pray my 108 mantras or whatever, right? Let's say these are my 5 habits for this month. Then no matter what, I will not miss these 5 because I am building my commitment muscle. It has nothing to do with the habits. It's got everything to do with my ability to build my personality on these habits. Okay, the more disciplined, the more consistent, the more organized, the more committed we get, the more powerful we get, right? So I don't want to say I'm going to wake up in the morning and then go, aaj nahi, kal sahi, and you keep doing that, we land up wasting away so much of our life. Now, I have built into my habit tracker rest days when I'm just supposed to do nothing but just be sitting on the sofa and resting, okay? Now, because I understand that life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long journey. We are all going to go through ups and downs and dips and ups, and all of that is going to happen, right? So I'm going to recommend to all of you, start building courage every day, clarity every day, consistency every day, and start seeing how beautiful life starts to become when you start to use these 3 pillars as your base pillars to build your growth journey or personality or the person that you want to become. Thank you everyone for your happy Teachers Day messages. Let's see this week who are the winners of the challenge. Alright, so we have, it's Kuti and me. We have Suneet _ soul feeding and Joyride _ 1111. Massive congratulations. You have just won yourself my book, Unlocking the Golden Cage. We will be asking you and messaging you for your address so that we can courier it to you. Thank you for participating in the challenge. For those of you who'd love to participate in the challenge of this week, all you need to do is take a picture of me, which I'm going to post for you in a moment. Take a picture of me. Put your biggest takeaway. What was your biggest learning for today? Again, I don't want you to go away learning everything. I want you to see what's that one bulb-on moment, that one point that you know if you start to use in your life will be better because of that. Okay, so see if you can find that one thing, that one takeaway. I don't want you to write summaries and paragraphs. I want you to write what's that one thing that you learned. Okay, only one. And then I want you to post it in your stories. Tag me Puja_Puneet so that I can share it in my stories. All right. So all of you here, let me quickly pose for you. Cheers. हो गया? आ गई photo? Pakka? Done? Let me go right to the bottom. Love it. Fabulous. Okay, so on that note, I am going to run, but thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Or you know how to do the challenge, right? Take a picture, put the takeaway, share it in your story, tag me. That's all you need to do to win my book, Unlocking the Golden Cage. Yes? All right. Love that. Abundance card. Oh, they are in the room. I did not bring it. Happy Teachers Day. Thank you so much for everyone who's been wishing me Happy Teachers Day. It has been such a fulfilling day yesterday. It was so wonderful. I don't know how many of you got to take part in the Guinness Book of World Record by actually just holding an A4 sheet with a sentence that Success Gyan has asked us to write. My suggestion, if you would be interested in being a part of the Guinness Book of World Record 2023, all you need to do is just hold that paper, write it in your own handwriting, take a picture and post it. It is a fabulous thing to participate in. So if you don't know anything about it, follow Success Gyan and just go look it up. In the last 24 hours, they are covered in that, so you'll see it everywhere. Yeah? Fabulous. For all of you who participated, that's amazing. What are these paintings behind you? I went to Bhutan and I fell in love with all of these Bhutanese goddesses. So these are all Buddhist goddesses. Each one has her own energy. One is of joy, one is of compassion, one is of courage. And I really just was very drawn and attracted to them. So I picked up these. It's actually from a book. It was the goddess book. And then I came back and got them framed and put it up. There are actually lots of them. So if you want to actually see, they're almost close to, I think, 36 of them on my wall. I think so. I can't remember. Or 24. I think maybe 24, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 threes are. So yeah, 24. So all of these are Buddhist goddesses, which I love, like Kuan Yin. I don't know if you've heard these names, but they are all these very, very, Mother Green Tara and all of the very, very amazing goddesses. So, surrounded myself with goddesses. Panel of goddesses. I like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to start to call it that. All right. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. I better run. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming. Loads of love.